The whole focus of MyEcon is helping people attain personal financial success. Now, personal financial success is simply having enough cash flow to support your lifestyle during your working years and during your retirement years. You ever met anybody that while they were working, they were doing great? And then when they quit working, all of a sudden things went downhill because they didn't have enough retirement dollars coming in? Okay? See, here's the bottom line. We've got to have enough cash to support our lifestyle. That's a different number for everybody, isn't it? Some people need $3,000 a month, some 5, some 10. Some folks need $38,000 a month too. Everybody got a number, right? And so the bottom line is that whatever your number is, that money's got to come from two sources. During your working years, it comes from your labor, whether you're working a job, building a business, or both, or a combination thereof. But during retirement years, that money's got to come from your assets or your investments. Am I correct? Now, those assets can be stocks, bonds, real estate, private businesses. You know, we have people in MyEcon that are retired because their residual income just from the business is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 a month that's coming from the business. So your asset can come from the business. Am I correct? Yeah. See, if you drive up and down Popular, any major city, any major street in this city, you'll see businesses that are generating somebody's retirement. Am I correct?
Yes.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
And see, when you start understanding that and demanding that and focusing on that, you'll start to make different decisions. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Okay. Now, almost everybody has been trained and conditioned to go to the bank and put money in the bank. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay, they'll buy CDs, they'll buy savings accounts, checking accounts, all that kind of stuff. Am I correct? Nothing wrong with that, but we're going to make a point. How many times did somebody tell you to go buy stock in your bank and own part of the bank?
No. Never.
That's what I mean by demanding your stock. If your money is good enough to go in the bank, and let somebody else use it to make money on it, then your money is good enough to go buy stock in that bank. Am I correct?
Correct.
See, we got to make different decisions, okay? We got to make different decisions. Let me give you an example of what I mean. See, here's the whole problem, okay? For most people, I know this was the case with me, this is for most people in the world, okay? Is that when we were born, even the people that love us, now not the people that don't love us, the people that love us, when they looked at us, they saw a worker. See, they didn't see a business owner. They didn't see an investor. They didn't see a wealthy person. They didn't see a philanthropist. They saw what? A worker. Not because they're bad, not because they didn't love us. They saw that because they had been conditioned all their life to be a worker. And they thought and acted like a worker. Work is good, work is honorable. But we're not just talking about making a living. We're talking about being wealthy. See, if God had said, look, all I did was I gave you power to make a good living, well, then I couldn't expect no more.
Right.
But man, when I read that over there, that I was supposed to be wealthy. And I said, now the Lord said this, right? I need to go get my stuff. I didn't have any money. I didn't know anybody had any money. Everybody in my family was poor. But I wanted to be a millionaire, and I couldn't get that out of my mind. You see? And so when I went off to college, I went because my parents told me I had to go. So, you know, you should be better did, right? And I did all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to be wealthy. I got out of Georgia Tech, and guess what? I still didn't have no wealth. So I started asking Lord, I said, Lord, how do I get my stuff out the time? I was talking to a group in Atlanta up there, this pastor's mission. And the pastor said that he had been praying about this because he had seen this online. And the Lord had told him that this is what he needed to do. Because when he started praying, he was saying, okay, God, I got the vision that I'm supposed to be wealthy, but what is the process? See, this is what we have to change. See, a lot of people got the vision, but they don't have a process. You know, it's one thing to say you're going to build a house. How? You know? Everybody understand what I'm saying now? See, we got, you know, it's one thing to say I'm going to make a cake. How? Everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay, and see, the process has been wrong because the thinking has been wrong. So people are working and working and working and working and working, but they just get the living because that's the process that they chose. But we got to change the process. we got to, and the way we change the process, we change our mind. We start thinking about something different. See, what we think about, you ever bought a certain car or something and you didn't hardly ever see many of them, you said, you know, how many people got that car, and then everybody had it? Because all of a sudden it came into your consciousness of your mind, didn't it? And see, what's got to get in the consciousness of your mind is that you are supposed to be wealthy. Let's define it. Y'all ready to go find it? Y'all ready to find it?
Yes.
See, here's the idea, right? Okay. See, when you work, you make money, right? See, if I got a dollar, most of the time I don't have a dollar. No, I don't have a dollar. Well, I do. I think I got a dollar. I don't want. I just want one little dollar. I don't have a dollar. Anybody got a dollar?
Yeah, I got a dollar.
Oh man, Cedric got a dollar. See, that's the way you make money. Just keep borrowing dollars, never turn it.
You can have it too, Ivy. You can have it.
Oh man. All right. See, if you had this dollar in 1955, and you decide to go buy breakfast, you could buy breakfast for the family with a dollar. But see, it's the same dollar today, right? If you went out to buy breakfast, you wouldn't even need to take one person, right?
Right.
Right. Because why? This is currency. This is money. This is not wealth. This is currency. But people focus on this. This is currency. Now, you can trade this for stock, bonds, anything that has the ability to appreciate in value. Real estate, that's wealth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what happens is when we only work for currency, we have limited earning ability. But when we start, but if you had taken this dollar and you had invested it in 1955 and you got 8% rate of return and the market's returned over 9.5% return, for the last 100 plus years, now that money would double every 9 years. So if you did that in 1955, in 9 years, in 1964, the dollar would have grown to $2 without you doing anything. In 9 more years, in 73, it would have been $4. In 9 more years, in 82, it would have been $8. In 9 more years, in 91, it would have been $16. In 2000, it would have been $32 a day. And then it would have been in 2009, it would be $64. They'd be over $100. Same dollar. But see, here's the whole thing. When you start talking about that, people say, well, what if I lose my money? Well, you're going to lose it if you don't invest it. Because what can the dollar buy that?
Right.
Everybody understand it?
Yep.
And so when God says, I give you power to gain wealth, he's not talking about these dollars. That's currency. They didn't just put a general word there called wealth. Assets, stocks, bonds, real estate. In the agricultural culture back during the Bible days, wealth came in the form of land, cattle, farms. Does that make sense? Because when God creates wealth, He creates wealth which generates money. But because we've been conditioned the incorrect way, we've been conditioned to work for money. And working for money is good, but then if we get this money, we got to take some of this money and turn it into wealth, so the wealth can give us some more wealth. Money. Everybody got it?
Yes.
And so the process is backwards. So it takes people too long. See, they're not getting anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, when Ced first came in this business, he wasn't making $38,000 a month. He had to come in this business and go to work, and he struggled just like everybody. He had some $50 a week, some $300 a week, just like everybody else. But he kept working on his business, which was the wealth, which was the asset, and then all of a sudden the business started to bring him $5,000 a week, $10,000 a week, $20,000 a week. Does that make sense? See, we got to reverse that. But you got to start thinking about that. You got to start talking about that when you have your meetings. Just like if you paid off debt, what you want to ask yourself is, what's the wealth part of this thing? If you had $100,000 worth of debt and it was costing you payments of $1,200 or $1,200 a month to make that payment on that debt every month, and you paid that debt off, you freed up what? $1,200 in cash, right? Now you're going to take that cash and do what with it? Instead of, you're going to now go buy you an asset to bring you some more what? Cash. Everybody got it?
Yes.
See, that's what MyEcon is all about. That's what MyEcon is all about. And we were born in the best of times. You can't let a dummy in the White House get you all messed up. Okay, we born in the best of times. There's never been another time in history that's been as good for our community. Here's why. We got an economy of $1.3 trillion. That's 15th in the world. We were a nation. People are putting their businesses in our communities. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. So that means there's some money there, right?
Right.
$1.3 trillion. So that means you can go out and build a business, MyEcon and other businesses, and get wealthy today. And get wealthy today. See, it's not, but see, if you say, well, there's a dummy in the White House and I can't do nothing because the dummy talking, then you took away your own power.
And you the dummy.
Because your words. And you understand?
Right.
See, something got to be bigger than the news. And hopefully that's your faith. And hopefully that's your vision. See, and you can build wealth. You can get whatever it is that you're looking to get in life. But you have got to change the process. Nobody else can do that for you. You got to change the process. You change your thinking, then you change your words, and then you change your process. Let's say it together. Change your thinking.
Change your thinking.
Change your words.
Change your words.
And then change your process.
Change your process.
So when you say something, it's like, so if you accidentally one day say something like, oh, it's just tough out here. I ain't gonna, it's just tough. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. Pop yourself and change your words. When I didn't have a dime, I knew I was gonna be a millionaire. Man, I didn't have $50 going up to. They said, well, what makes you think you different? Because God said I was ready in the book. I said, I ain't different. I just know what he told me I can have.
Right.
See, I didn't accidentally become a millionaire before I was 30. It's not an accident. You can become a millionaire. It's your destiny. See, God wants us to have assets. But he didn't put us here just to be workers. See, sometimes you have to look at, people say, man, the good old days. Sometimes you got to look at the good old days and say they made some mistakes. They made mistakes. They did the best they could, and we honor them for what they did, but it wasn't perfection. It's far from that. And see, when you start walking in that new mindset, right? Now you're going to be able to change. Let's talk about some statistics, and I'm going to show you why we can change it, how we're going to change it, okay? All right. All right. So here's the bottom line is that we want to attain personal financial success. We want to make, we need to make enough money during our working years to, right there?
No, you had already hit that slide.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. One more. There you go.
Okay, good. All right. So let me go back one more time. So we need to, so we got two things. We got to make enough money to support our lifestyle while we're living, and we got to invest enough money so when we stop working, that money keep coming. And then when we die, we can pass it on to our heirs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's financial success. That's wealth.
That is.
That's what we got to create. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, but it can't be just words. We got to have actions. We got to have a process. We got to have beliefs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if your bank, if your money is good enough, you put it in the bank. Don't you go down there another day and don't buy some stock. You can go to Stash. That's a laugh out there. You know the young kids, they educate me now. Man, I'm learning some stuff. You know? and so now you buy some stock. See, if you bank it, Wells Fargo, buy some stock. If you bank it, Bank of America, buy some stock. Okay. Now, see, when your money in the bank, they give you 1%, 2%, no percent. You only make money on your money. When you buy stock, you make money on everybody's money in the bank. That bank was here. Those banks been here before any of us were even born. So somebody said, "Well, what if I lose my money?" Well, it was here before you were born. If somebody in Memphis buy a house, where to go? Bank. Somebody in Memphis buy a car, where to go? Bank. Somebody want a credit card, where to go? Bank. So leave back to me, you need to go down to the bank so they can bring you some of their money of all colors. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, we got to change it. We got to change it. You got to demand it for yourself. See, you got to demand it with your mouth, with your thinking. You got to say, I'm not going to exist. And then see, when you step out there, start doing what you can do in that direction, God will make up the difference. See, if you start buying stock, He'll give you some more money to buy stock. If you start doing the business, then He'll help you build the business. But if you won't say it, you won't think it, you won't try it, then you can't do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there's never been a greater time. 1.3 trillion. 15 in the whole world. So when somebody say, I remember, I've had people say this to me many times over the years. Man, the economy's tough. No. Let's go look at the stats. Let's go look at the stats. Now, we might need to change what we're doing. We might need to get another deal. We might need to make some different situations. But there's money everywhere. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. Let's get busy. Let's look at some stats. America is the wealthiest country in the world. America owns 25% of the world's wealth. And America got 5% of the world's population. If you can't get rich here, you can't get rich. Okay? I mean, this is the best it's going to get. Our community, we got $1.3 trillion spent every year. People are marketing to our community. So we got to change. See, we can't just go on the old word because it's been the popular media thing or it's been the tradition. We got young adults in our business, 25, 26, 27 years old, making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week. We got to change our words. You got to know you can, so you can. And if somebody around you talking about they can't all day long, then one or two of them need to leave. You can leave them or tell them to get on. Because see, all that old negative stuff, that stuff will beat you down in the ground, round you up. And then when you be dead, then they'll say, woo! I don't know why they kill themselves. Now, that's the wealth, okay? But see, we got to move out of this. Here's the bad part. 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings.
Wow.
75% have less than $5,000. But see, just like I tell my kids who are all adults now, I tell them, I said, did you eat last week? And they say, yeah, Daddy. I said, well, then you should have bought stock. See, you got to fight for what you want. You can start investing with $5. So don't let a week go by that you don't. See, you got to think about the fact that you want to be wealthy as much as you think about the fact that you want to consume something that day. See, you have to change your habit. The habit don't change itself. You have to change it. You got to demand it. I was no way in the world was I going to be in a position. The Lord said that He gave me power to get wealth, and then I wasn't going to get any. And even today, I'm 59. We made millions and millions. People say, well, how you turn $10 into $600 million? And I'm like, I'm not going to the creator of the universe and just get $600 million if all of it's His, and He said I can get more. We're just getting started. We're going to create a million millionaires. So it's not just about one person or a handful of people. If we're going to change our community, we have to change it. You got to step off in the fight personally. Does that make sense? We got to change it. 68 million Americans have poor credit. 80% of Americans have something negative on their credit. Well, that's unfortunate because poor credit can cost you $1 million. It's that serious. See, think about it. If you overpay for a credit card because the interest rate higher than it's supposed to be, maybe your car note is $150 a month more because the credit was poor. Does that make sense? Or maybe the house was $250. Well, guess what? If you had that money and didn't have to pay that, you could have invested that difference, right? Okay, that's your wealth, right? So that can cost you $1 million. See, some people think that they're waiting on the Lord to bless them. He already did, but we let somebody else steal it because of a poor mindset. Everybody understand?
Yes.
He already blessed us. He done his deal. We're not waiting on him. See, I was born poor not because the Lord didn't bless our family. It was some decisions that were made before I got here. Everybody understand this? See, you can love somebody and not necessarily respect their decisions that they make. 80% of Americans feel like they've fallen behind. But they should feel like they're getting ready to get ahead. If the Lord said He gave you power to gain wealth. If it's $1.3 trillion going through the community, if it's 16 trillion going around America, 1.3 trillion going through our community, then we should be feeling like we're ready to get ahead, not get behind. Does that make sense? You know, and back in, I started MyEcon in 2005. You know, and folks was like, whoo, the economy is tough. I'm like, whoo, all I see is opportunity. You know how many people need this teaching I'm getting ready to bring to them? We made over $100,000 our first month. You see? See, that ain't what the news say. That's just information. It's what the Lord said. Okay? And what you believe. All right. So, bottom line is, wages are stagnant. Look, corporate ain't gonna wage raises. Based on inflation, ain't gonna be no pay raises. Maybe 1% of the people in the company. When I got out of Georgia Tech, 1981, average starting salary was $27,000 for an engineer. Man, we thought we was something $25,000, $26,000, 22 years old. And that was good. Here's the only problem. When I meet my buddies in Atlanta, the steel engineers, okay, that was 1981. This is 2018. They making $95,000 to $100,000. That's the same $27,000 they made in 1981. Based on inflation, am I correct?
Yes.
So when you sit back and you say, well, okay, I'm making X today, doesn't matter what X is. What am I going to be making in 20 years? Okay? And then you say, I got to take charge of this. Is that the way it works? Everybody understand me now? All right, the government has no solution. They ain't interested. Oh, they're going to try to do, say some stuff on political years to get some votes. Man, if we can just get this with. Look, they done had so many presidents in since I was born. None of them never did give me no money. Everybody understand? You got to step up to the plate. You got to get you a process. And there's many good processes out here. MyEcon is just one of them. But the most important thing is you got to get one. All right, so we have a process. We have a strategy. It's called More Cash Flow, Better Financial Strategies. We're going to have to get some more cash. And then we want to show you a different strategy with that cash. Take part of that cash and start investing. Take part of that cash and start investing or start paying off debt. But at least do some investing. See, that's different, right? Because now when you start investing, you're building assets. Am I correct? Yeah. You're building wealth. Am I correct? Yeah. See, just refuse to walk in a bank if you don't own some of them. All right. See, you can go to Stash tonight, man. You take $5, go there and buy your, buy your partial stock. You start buying stocks every week. Does that make sense? See, you just got to demand that because you start asking yourself, why do I always put my money in the bank and I never own any of it? Because I was taught to do that by people who didn't know any better. Doesn't mean they're bad people, they just didn't know much about money. Everybody understand? Yes. All right. Now, so how are we going to help you get more money? We got two ways. The first way is through our income shifting membership. It's a membership that has strategies. And when you implement these strategies in your life, you get more of your cash back in your pocket. Okay? Now you're going to take part of that cash and you're going to make a good, smart financial decision and turn part of that cash into some more cash. Because see, here's what it comes down to. Most people, ask yourself this question. How much money will you make next year if you don't work? One day you're going to have to make a living without working. And God said he gave you power to get some wealth. So you got to start that process. And when you get this cash back, some of it, you got to take a step and say, I got to start buying me some stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now some people, you're gonna get all the blueberries. They're going to come out. Well, you might lose your money. Well, let's talk about it for a moment. Where you going to get 8%? Where you going to get 12%? Well, let's just look around. Let's say you can judge a tree by the fruit, right? Anybody in here bought a house in Memphis 20 years ago? Okay, all right. Did it go up in value over the last 20 years? Everybody got it? Okay. Anybody, don't raise your hand. Okay. Did anybody rent a house? Or did anybody rent an apartment for the last 20 years? Did they raise your rent? Okay? Don't you listen to them people who don't know nothing about money. They'll keep you struggling all your life. They'll have your grandchildren struggle before they're born. There's some, I got
struggling before they born.
But they don't know that. They got poverty worries. They just don't know it. They're good people now. You can be a good person and don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how to make no cake. Not one that's edible anyway. But that don't make me bad, but I know how to make $1 million, and that don't make me good. So you can't go around listening to people who don't know what they're talking about, and everything based on the good old days, which wasn't all that good. And then you won't never get nowhere. You got to step out of the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 80s. We got to get on to the day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, so we got this membership. We're going to show you how to get money by changing your W-4. You've heard some of the promos in here. $300 a month, $400 a month, $500 a month. That's new cash. Now you can apply. Somebody else was holding your cash before. Now you're going to take your cash and start doing something with it, right?
Right.
Okay. Then we're going to show you how to improve your credit score. Lower your credit score, you get more. You get your borrowing cost go. You raise your credit score, your borrowing cost go. Now you got more cash, right? We're going to show you how to lower your taxes. You get more cash, right? We're going to show you how to then take money and get out of debt. So this is what this is going to do. Now, once you do that, you have what we in church call a testimony. In business, we call a promo. Now you got to go tell everybody. And if they get offended, so what?
Okay.
Why do I care about them getting offended? Because see, look, I'm going to give you an example. Okay? I grew up poor. Really, really poor. Poor than most people even know what poor is. And as soon as you step out and get in business, now all of a sudden, everybody in town got something to say about your business. But I'm a nice person, but I ain't no soft fit. I'm not that guy, okay? I'm just nice. And when you want to get your wealth, you might have to offend and say, look, get about this. Today. Who are you? The Lord said I'm supposed to have wealth. People get rich every day.
Mm-hmm.
And see, you can't get nowhere with all that negativity, all that foolishness there. We got too much money to sing you to hell. Well, how much can I make it? I was short. All kind of foolishness, right? Well, you can always owe somebody. Why? The Lord said we're supposed to be lenders, not borrowers. He ain't got no problem with it. He ain't got no problem with that. He just don't want his people paying it. Everybody understand? Yeah. And the way we lend is we buy stocks and we buy bonds, and then they pay us interest and dividends. and we make cash on it. We got to get the money coming the other way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's just a decision, and a small day-to-day decisions leads to a big result. That's what it's all about. If somebody can pay a phone bill every month, and then somebody can go and upgrade and get a new phone because the other one wasn't quite new enough, they can buy some stock. At least buy stock in the phone company. They're keeping them in business. Buy Apple, they got $1 trillion. Apple worth $1 trillion.
Wow.
Amazon worth $1 trillion. So why not buy some stock? Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you're going to live in America, you got to own part of it. And if you're going to do business with a company, you got to own part of it. If you always find yourself in Walgreens, go down to Golden Stash and buy you some Walgreens stock.
Yeah.
And you say, I don't like Walgreens, I like CVS. Well, buy that one. Everybody understand?
Yes.
We're going to change the mindset. All right. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to talk, so we got the 5 strategies, right? In the membership. Okay? So credit, okay, let's talk about each one in detail just a little bit. The first one, the first source of cash is to change it every quarter. Now, according to the IRS, over 80% of every employee has too much money taken out of check for taxes. That happened because when we started jobs, they gave us a form called the W-4, it had poor instructions, nobody helped. Most of the time we filled it out incorrectly. 80% of all Americans. So it's not even so this isn't just an African-American thing or minority thing. They know 80% minority. This is just people. Okay? So what we do is we show you how to change it there before. It takes about 10 minutes. We got a video on it. We got training on it. We change it, and we see people pick up $200 to $500 in new cash. Anybody in here changed it there before? Okay? You got some cash, okay? So that worked. Bang, you can have your cash next payday. Does that make sense? And then you're going to take that cash, and you're going to become an investor. Okay? Now, you know, you may be in a situation in life where you say, I'm getting ready to retire, but if you're not getting ready to retire tomorrow, don't you pay your debt off before you start investing. You can do both simultaneously, but you got to invest. See, we got to get what we was promised, the asset. See, if I got $100,000 worth of debt and I'm working my job, and then I make $100,000 from the side doing something else for, you know, a year or two, whatever, right? And I take my $100,000 that I made extra money and I pay off that debt. Now, if I lose my job the next day, I got no job, but I got no debt. I got no money, right? But if I took that extra $100,000 and put it over in an investment account, right? Yeah. And then I lost my job, man, I'd kick the table on the way out. That's out fire, man. I'm ready to go now. I got $100,000 and this my chance. Everybody got it for it, right? Yeah. All right, so that's the first strategy, right? Every day, we have hundreds of people do that. Every day they get that cash. You guys have done a great job on it. Now, if you're getting ready to retire, and you like, look, I'm going the downside. I'm getting ready. Now, you might want to just pay off all your debt, right? Because you're getting ready to retire anyway. Does that make sense? All right. Or if you already got a pension and you know pension going to kick in a year or two, you say, okay, well, you know, I already got some assets there, so I'm just going to go on and pay this debt off so I can ease into retirement with no. Everybody understand? Yeah. All right, but if you're still looking to get some more assets, you don't have the assets you want, then you need to be invested, not paying on debt. Everybody good? Yeah. All right, so next strategy is build your credit. I don't care what nobody tell you. The credit repair person ain't doing nothing but selling a letter. Okay? All right. They don't know nobody down at the 3 major credit bureaus. And ain't nobody down there reading your letter. Even when they send it, who sent it? A machine reads it. It picks up the keywords, it sends you back a form letter. So when you want to pay them $50 a month, $75 a month, $100 a month, $250 a month, so they remove one thing a month, you can just get in MyEcon, it all comes in the system, and then you can download the same letter. Yep. Okay? Put your account number on it and mail it yourself with no more cost. I guess you got to pay for the stamps, okay? All they do is send a letter, okay?
Certified.
And the key to building credit is not getting stuff off, is adding more credit. Okay, it's adding more credit. I had a young man. I've never met him. I just met him on the phone. Back in December, he called me. His cousin called me up and said he had no credit. Not a low credit, not bad credit, no credit. He had no presence of credit. That's what they call it when you don't have anything. And so I said, well, that's easy. I said, you're in the best position in the world. He said, I sure don't feel like it. I said, but you are. I said, all you gotta do is just go there and get your credit card. I said, just take $200 and go over there and get you a secure credit card. Boom. He did that. Credit score went from no existence of credit to 616 in about 3 months. I said, now go get your number. Then you'll go get another. Boom. Jump to 16. I said, then go over to South London and tell them you want to borrow $500. They're not going to send you the money. They're going to take the money and put it in a CD in the bank. And then you make payments on it. They're going to report that you made your payments to the bank. And then you're going to be over $700. See, we got to have the process. See, some people do know how to cook cakes. Okay? And building your credit score is having the right process. See, when people tell you, yeah, but see, you know, we got the special stuff. They ain't got no special sauce. All they got is a letter. That's all it is, a letter, okay? So we have to repair, build, and maintain your credit. Go build your 750 credit score. You gotta have good credit for the good jobs. You gotta have good credit for the perks. You gotta have good credit to get a reasonable credit score to get to be able to borrow money at a low cost. That makes sense? And then some people want to make investments, right? You want to go out and you want to start buying real estate stuff. You gotta have good credit. Our system will help you do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is we want to save money on taxes. Okay? Well, business owners have more tax breaks than employees. Okay? So you might as well get both. That makes sense? You might as well get both, right? So the bottom line is, when you own a business of any kind, you now have the ability to start getting more tax deductions. All right, so I'm just going to give you a few, okay, like car and truck. As an employee, you can drive your car, your vehicle back and forth to work wherever you'll get tax write-off. All right, now, so let's say you did that 2/3 of the time that you drove or whatever throughout the year. So you drive 15,000 miles, let's say you make 10,000 of the tax deductible. Okay, at 56 cents a mile, that's a $5,600 tax deduction. So if you made 60,000, now the government say you only made $54,400. It lowered your taxable income. So if you were in the 25% tax bracket, most people are, now, guess what? You just saved 25% of that $6,400. Does it make sense? Or $5,600. So now you just saved, what's that? $1,800 in taxes, cash back in your pocket. And see, you start making that decision. Take that cash, and what you gonna do? You gonna buy what?
Stocks.
Stocks. In companies that you're doing business with. My business down here, and want to give you a card, and want you to check out my website. I got a video on there. Call me back. Become a public nuisance. See, some people are like, ooh. Well, guess what? In less than 30 days, they're going to start being a nuisance to you about this. Because they want your money. Am I correct? Over and over and over and over and over, right? That's what it's going to be. So you get in the game. If your money good enough to spend, then you're good enough to get somebody else's money. That's what capitalism is. Everybody understand?
Yes.
That's what capitalism is.
Give me all y'all money.
Wages. You can hire your children. Any business that hires employees, the money they pay those employees is tax deductible. Okay, if your child works for McDonald's and they make $3,000 in the year, McDonald's takes that $3,000 off of their taxable income and lowers their taxes. Well, now you can hire your own children. Okay, you can hire your own children. Okay, and you say, well, how am I gonna pay them? You already paying them. School clothes, spending money, lunch money, technology games. You already paying them. Now you just got to give them a job. Does that make sense? Give them a job, and now those dollars are tax deductible. and that up to $12,000 is tax deductible to you, and the child won't owe any taxes and won't even have to file. That's more dollars back in your pocket. See, if you want to get some money to start investing and start growing your life financially, you can find the money, but you got to demand it. You got to look earnestly for it. You got to want it bad enough to make a decision that might not be pleasing to somebody else. Does that make sense? So, make sure I'm on the right page. Okay. So you hire your children. That's going to free up some money. The government is going to lower your taxes, and you're going to get some cash. Now you're going to take that cash and go make some more cash. So that's more cash. We're going to give you a piece of software on your phone that comes with the business. You download it, keep all your tax records. Need to keep a copy of the receipt, take a picture of it, throw the receipt away. Upload the digital receipt from your phone camera to the system. Does that make sense? Okay? All right. Now, so that's how you're going to save money on taxes. Anybody write off some stuff on their taxes in MyEcon over the last few years? All right.
No, he ain't got
See, it's lots of people out there like that. And that's what you got to talk about, the money. See, some people going to say,
all the things you can write off.
They should be telling you what you're talking about.
Oh, the cash flow strategy.
We got to go get the money, right?
The cash flow management.
All right. All right. So last thing, now you got some cash. You lowered you changed your W-4, you lowered your taxes, you got some cash. Now let's go over here, let's knock out some debt. We give you a piece of software, you put the debt in, you put the interest rate in, and tell you which one to pay off first. Okay? Now what we do, we call it income shifting. You take that cash, okay, and you take the whichever debt it tells you to pay out first, and you add that to that debt, $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever. When that debt's gone, then we take that extra money plus the money from that prior debt and add it to the next one. You'll pay off a ton of debt quick. In this example, we had $300,000 worth of debt, a car, credit card, and mortgage. We had $1,000 a month that we had got from the other stuff in the business. Now guess what? We paid the debt off for 9 years and 2 months instead of 30 years. Okay? We saved $279,000 in interest payments and freed up $2,400. But that would be that easy. Okay? We got tons of people. They paid off $100,000 of debt in 12, 13 months. Okay? People pay off debt fast. Pay off mortgage. You know, somebody said, what kind of car you drive? Well, paid for a kind.
That's right.
You understand? We got to change the agenda. Nobody's going to change the course. You got to start asking yourself, the agenda that I've been running, is it mine? Was it learned? Learned from who? Who gave it to me? The person that taught me, how did they end up financially? And you might have to make a hard decision. You might have to make a hard decision. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
I was a college football player. I got out of football. I was always a student. Played college football. I was an all-American football player. I got out of college. Man, they just knew I was going to come back home and teach school and be the coach. And man, I just wanted to be a millionaire. So I didn't accept no job out of college. I went straight into business. And I think about this now. All my life, I've been in church. They just say, whoo, boy, you got to have faith. Okay, I got it. I believe the Lord said I'm supposed to be well. Ooh, you got to do this. You got to do all that. And then I wanted to be a millionaire. And then when I made that decision and didn't take the secure route for that job, they're like, man, I just went to Georgia Tech and got stupid. That's what they said. And you know what I said? I'm just glad that God didn't die and leave you in charge of me. So for 430, I was a million. And now we've helped thousands of people be millionaires. But now we're going to create a million. See, you might have to step outside of a comfort place. You might have to say, you know what? I'm just tired of existing. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of the rut. I'm just tired of the rhetoric. Woo, things are just rough. Woo, it's just bad. Woo, I don't know when I'm going to get a break. Why don't you just get tired?
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
You better change it. Now they're gonna be in somebody now. They're gonna be in the left side. Whoop-a-doo. Whoop-a-doo. I wanted to be wealthy, better, I wanted their appreciation. It's just like right now, I understand what I say. Man, we're gonna create millionaires all over this country. Some people ain't gonna like that, like I can. I don't give a rip. That's what we're gonna do. We're helping people come in. You got to get your money from the bank. Go down to the bank, buy you some stock, and pay off your debt quick as you can. Don't have none going to them, all of it coming to you. That's the American way. Mm-hmm. See, if you don't fight like that, you're not going to win. Is that what they're going to do?
Yep.
So what? You got to decide you're going to be a millionaire. You'll be a millionaire. Look, people becoming billionaires. People become billionaires. And see, you might have to make some decisions if you want. Lord can bless your business. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter what the business is. He bless it. Make it grow. Become wealthy. Have some fun. Enjoy your life. You wasn't put here just to work till you die. That was what